Hello guys, this is Dr. Palnipan Manikam. In the last 2 to 3 weeks, I have gotten so many phone calls from friends, family members, from mutual friends, and I have seen that at least one of their family members or loved ones have lost their life. This is ridiculously painful. It is heart-wrenching to watch. There are only two things that we can do to save us from this situation. Let's dive deep into it. Right now, the numbers in India are increasing every day. It's close to 4,000 deaths per day. It took 10 months to reach 10 million cases during the first wave. It just took 4 months to reach the next 10 million in the second wave. We are not even done with the second wave. They are already talking about the third wave. There is only two things that help us out. The first one is vaccination. As long as we are not completely vaccinated, this infection is going to spread. Unfortunately, only 2% of Indian population have been completely vaccinated, which means 2 weeks after the second dose of either Covishield or Covaxin. Unfortunately, there is significant vaccine shortage. Looks like it might be extending for the next 2 months. In July 2021 is the time we are expected to fill the vaccine shortage completely. So from now until the 2 months from now, I urge you to get hands on any vaccine that you can get. Doesn't matter Covishield or Covaxin, and do not even worry about extending the second dose to 6 weeks or 8 weeks. Anytime after 4 weeks, please get your second dose. In the worst case scenario, if you do not get the vaccine and if you got the first dose already, it is okay to wait even 3 months or 4 months, because that's how we did in UK and also in Canada. Given the fact that option number one cannot be enforced until July 2021, we don't have any other option rather than choosing the option number two, which is complete lockdown of India, at least for the next 1 or 2 months. I sincerely request Mr. Modi to consider complete lockdown. I understand there are financial consequences, but lives matter more than financial implications. All these 50% shutdown, partial lockdown is not going to help in this case. This strain is more contagious and more lethal compared to the first wave. And the only thing that actually helped us in the first wave is complete lockdown, at least for 2 months in March 2020. That exact same thing should happen now until we fill up our vaccine supplies and start vaccinating at least 30% of Indian population. The reason partial lockdown will not work is social distancing is very difficult to practice in this partial lockdown. I'll give you an example. Tamil Nadu government has said that Tasmac, the liquor shop, can be open only from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. They have cut down the hours. They are thinking that it is a good measure to impose this partial lockdown, but the problem is people are going to flock between this 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. time rather than extending throughout the day, and it is extremely impossible to follow social distancing in that limited period of time when these shops are open. The problem is this variant is more contagious, so this might be considered as a super spreader event. Even with all these deaths going around, it is unbelievable that we are not in full lockdown yet. I know there are financial consequences, but right now we need to save lives. We need to reserve our hospital resources for critically ill patients so that all patients cannot get admitted at the same time. And I don't want a situation where we have to pick and choose which patient to treat, similar to what happened in Italy in 2020. Even if the government is not imposing complete lockdown, I beg all my audience watching the channel to make sure that you, your family members, your mutual friends, enforce complete lockdown by yourself. Make sure that you don't go out of your house as much as possible. Double masking, hand washing, practicing social distancing as much as possible until the vaccine supplies are up and running and you are completely vaccinated. I'll tell you a painstaking discussion that I had with my friend's mom. Their uncle died, unfortunately, due to COVID-19, and their parents want to visit the uncle's funeral services. I begged them not to go to the funeral services because that might consider as a spreader event as well. It was a heartless conversation that I had with them, but unfortunately I was not able to convince them. They have to go to the funeral service, and they got COVID-19 and they are admitted in the hospital now. And the only reason that they went to the funeral was they thought that people will mistake them, that they are not grieving for the death. Please understand that this is not the time for social embarrassment. This is the time for coming together and saving each one of us through our social preventive measures that we are practicing. Remember, there are only two things that you can do to protect you and your family right now. Number one, get vaccinated. Number two, complete lockdown until you get vaccinated. Stay safe, get vaccinated. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.